Like he said, I'm Alicia Pearson, and I'm an interpreter with the Gwaii Haanas National Park Reserve and Haida Heritage Site. As for my heritage, I'm part Haida from Haida Gwaii and part Mohawk from the Six Nations Reserve in Ontario. So it's an honor that I can be here tonight and share my stories with you. So Gwaii Haanas is part of the Parks Canada system of protected areas and sits 120 kilometers off the shore of the BC mainland and 770 kilometers north of where we are here in Vancouver. And so the entire island chain is known as Haida Gwaii, otherwise known as the Queen Charlotte Islands. And so in Haida this means islands of the people. So the boundary between Earth to ocean exists only on a map, and so Parks Canada has identified the waters around Gwaii Haanas as a National Marine Conservation Area Reserve. So in the 1970s, before Gwaii Haanas National Park Reserve was created, the number and impact of visitors to Gwaii Haanas increased, and the Haida people were becoming concerned about protecting their ancient homelands and their cultural resources. Haida people would travel, often using their own boats, and live in tents in these ancient sites throughout the summer months to ensure that they were respected and protected. Awareness and participation in the program grew over the years, and it was formalized with the establishment of Gwaii Haanas. Presently, there are approximately 30 Haida Watchmen that reside in the Haida Watchman sites from May until September. The hard work and dedication of the Haida Watchmen not only protect Gwaii Haanas and Haida culture, but enhance visitor experience and safety. They are guardians of these ancient sites and share their knowledge and culture with visitors from around the world. The program also provides an excellent opportunity to keep the Haida culture alive by doing activities like weaving, carving, storytelling, songs, and practicing the Haida language, and then by passing on this traditional knowledge to younger generations. So now, I'm going to tell you a story about my first time as a watchman. At the age of 17, I had just graduated from high school and was looking forward to spending the summer with my friends. My father informed me that I was to be a watchman in the ancient Haida village site of Skidans in order to get in touch with my culture. So having just moved up to Haida Gwaii from Vancouver, I was having a little bit of difficulty adjusting. Used to being surrounded by the 2 million or so people in the city, to the less than 1,000 that live in the village of Queen Charlotte, was an adjustment in itself. From there, I was to pack up my belongings and head into the great unknown, population of 2. Time passed slowly for the first little while. Most days began the same at the Watchman camps, eating breakfast and receiving calls over the VHF Marine radio from visitors wishing to visit the site. Some days, calls would come in one after another, and there would be a constant flow of people coming in visiting the site. People would come from far-off places to come here to visit the lands of my ancestors. Almost everyone would express their pleasure and gratitude for being able to visit such a unique destination. Some days were quiet. The radio remained silent with no one on the horizon. And these days were a chance to soak up the solitude and spirituality of the sites. I began to feel so connected to the land and my culture, I felt at peace. I could finally breathe and exhale without that constant busy flow of life. I also thoroughly enjoyed the company of the visitors. Every day was a new experience that brought with it laughter, learning, and memories. I also took pride in learning about my culture and was happy to be able to share this knowledge with visitors who were so appreciative. As time passed, I was beginning to realize just how incredibly lucky I was to be here, to be in Gwaii Haanas. I was starting to see everything in a different light. I was in the ancient homelands of my ancestors in the pristine wilderness, so beautiful that nothing can compare. To my surprise, the month went by in the blink of an eye, and it was time to leave. And I was actually sad. I didn't want to go back to my old life. The first few days on site, I was counting the days until I could go back home, and now I was counting the days until I could return to Gwaii Haanas. I was no longer angry at my dad, but was thankful that he introduced me to this place of beauty. My time as a watchman was a life-changing experience that taught me a lot about traditional knowledge, how to enjoy living without technology, and how to live in nature and appreciate it. This experience drove me to seek a path in life that would allow for me to play a part in the protection of Gwaii Haanas so that others might have the opportunity to come and experience this wonderful place. So one of the most difficult questions I've ever been asked over the years is which village site is my favorite. Each site is so unique, carrying with it feelings and beauty that I cannot possibly choose one. So now take a moment to imagine some of the sites Gwaii Haanas has to offer. Imagine a cold, drizzly day like this one. Everything is misty and magical. Today has been a long day of paddling, and your muscles are quite achy. It's a few hours until you arrive at the hot springs, and the thought of the inviting, healing qualities of the hot pools urges you to keep going. When you get there, you must choose which of the 3 pools to have a soak in. You're relaxing. Steam arises from the pool, and your muscles finally begin to relax. You're surrounded by the mystery of Gwaii Haanas, its breathtaking beauty, and you are a part of it. After some time soaking up the rejuvenating qualities of the hot pools, you look up and see the sun breaking through the clouds. This time to relax and revitalize your spirit gets you ready to venture again out into the open seas. And tomorrow is another day of paddling and adventure. Now, imagine walking through the old-growth forest at Windy Bay. Take a deep breath, smell the moss, the trees. The air is so fresh, so pure. Over the sound of the breeze rustling the trees, you can hear the beautiful songs of the songbirds. Glancing upwards to see if you can spot the source of these wonderful songs, you are in awe of the ancient trees towering over you like natural high-rises, and you feel very tiny in comparison. One tree stands out amongst the rest, the giant Sitka Spruce. This tree has been here for centuries. Imagine how many generations this tree has seen over its time. Standing here in this forest, time seems unchanging. Now, imagine you're in one of the village sites. Such a peaceful place, yet so alive with history and spiritual presence. The moss-covered village site of Tanu is absolutely breathtaking. You're overwhelmed by the vibrant green of the village, so green, in fact, that the air itself almost appears to be emerald. Skidans and Skungwaii still have standing poles. Now imagine walking amongst these poles, each one portraying some of the Haida's oral histories. One can imagine what the village would have looked like hundreds of years ago. Dozens of poles and longhouses, Haida children playing and laughing on the beach, the smell of drying fish in the air, everyone bustling with the Haida way of life. Each person's experience will be different. It's easy to be overwhelmed by emotion, intrigued by the mystery, in awe of the beauty, feeling so connected with the place that a peaceful sensation takes over. Sense the magnificence of the village that still portrays the vitality of the Haida culture. Heritage is our legacy to the past, what we live with today, and what we pass on to future generations. In 1981, Skungwaii was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site to commemorate the living culture of the Haida people and their relationship to the land and sea. One of my most cherished memories of all time was after having spent an amazing day at Skungwaii. We departed in the evening on a little speedboat, and as I looked back at the island and remembered all of the wonderful things of that day, the sun was just beginning to set, and I was overwhelmed at the beauty. The sun glistened off the water, off the blue ocean like a million diamonds. And as the sun was disappearing below the horizon at Skungwaii, it was silhouetted against one of the most beautiful sunsets I have ever seen. And this image I will never forget. So now that I've shared with you a few of my stories, it must be pretty clear that I think Gwaii Haanas is one of the best places on earth. Apparently, I'm not the only one who thinks so. National Geographic has rated Gwaii Haanas as a #1 destination amongst 55 of North America's national parks. Virtually everyone who goes to Gwaii Haanas comes away with an experience of a lifetime, and they express that they were very satisfied with their trip. I have given you only a glimpse of some of what Gwaii Haanas has to offer. Keep in mind, these are my own personal experiences, and there are countless others waiting to be had. I am extending an invitation for you to come and discover your own unique experience. Come and create memories that will last a lifetime.